sign up for my first 5K, and that's 3 miles. So that's like, that's a lot, right? I'm scared. But I went out. I didn't really tell a lot of people because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do it. And I'm not going to finish. So I went, it was down in Long Beach. I went down there and ran my 3 miles. And okay, this is where it gets emotional. So I'm running through the finish line and I hear my name and I'm like, who knows I'm here? I look up and there was Franco, the owner of the gym.
Oh.
Drove from Yorba Linda down to Long Beach to cheer me on the finish line. That meant the world to me that they care that much. So that's why I stick with Fit Body Boot Camp, because they stick with me.
Welcome to Beyond the Scale, the show where everyday heroes share their stories on how they turn their lives around for the healthier. I'm Coach Brittany, and I have a special guest today, Yolanda McPeck from Anaheim Fit Body Boot Camp. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely.
Excited to be here.
I'm excited to hear all about you and your story.
Okay, I have a lot to share.
But before we get into any of that, I want to ask you some rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay, you ready for them?
Yes, go.
First one, are you a morning or night person?
Morning.
What is your favorite memory?
Oh, gosh, that's a slow answer. You know what?
Gotta be quick.
It has to do with dogs. I'm a
Dogs?
dog person.
Okay.
So getting a dog for Christmas, getting a dog as a child, you know, those kind of warm and fuzzies.
Okay, and now, what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
I don't eat strange food.
Okay.
Okay.
Biggest accomplishment?
Oh, gosh, that is definitely my fitness journey.
Okay.
Losing weight.
One thing that you're looking forward to doing in 2019?
I plan on running another half marathon. I've been doing the national park half marathons, and so we're looking at probably Glacier in June this year.
Okay,
in 2019.
exciting.
Yeah.
And if you could teleport anywhere right now, where would you go?
I would be at home in my bed.
Oh, okay, there you
It's
go.
cold and rainy out, so I want to be cozy.
Yeah, that's definitely not normal for us
Yes.
Californians
Yeah.
out here. So, and what's your life motto?
Be unstoppable. Definitely be unstoppable. I'll get into more of that when we're talking about more of my story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes
Yes.
rapid fire
Okay, then.
questions. You
All
did
right.
that great. Thank you for sharing. So I know you've been with Fit Body for 4 years now, right?
Just about 3.5. Yeah.
Okay. So before Fit Body, did you live an active lifestyle?
I was just starting to get into fitness and activity, where a coworker had gotten certified as a CrossFit trainer. Okay. So for him to practice training on people, he was offering classes and did it started out as an 8-week challenge, but ended up as a 10-week challenge because we just kept going. And so I just started that, and that actually started my weight loss. I was actually almost 200 pounds when I started. And
was that like the heaviest you've been?
Yes,
Or, okay.
yes, yeah. And I've always been, overweight, where I'd lose like 20 to 30 pounds at a time, but then I'd gain it back and add more to it. And so at that point, I was almost 200 pounds, and I'd lost about 25 pounds. And then I moved. That was actually in Hawaii. I was lucky enough to live in Hawaii for 4 years.
That's exciting. What island?
Oahu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's where I started that. And when I came back to California, I was looking for something to continue fitness and losing more weight. And actually, I came upon a Groupon for Anaheim Fit Body Boot Camp. And so I signed up for 3 weeks, and I've never stopped since. I signed up right after that and just kept going. Yeah, so I go like probably 5 to 6 times a week.
Nice.
I'd say, very regularly.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You got to have those rest days in there though, right?
I have rheumatoid arthritis, so I don't plan a rest day. Sometimes my body tells me when it needs to rest, but typically I don't say, okay, I've gone 3 or 4 days in a row, I'll take a rest day. It's just because, my body tells me, or if I have plans, I want to live my life too. So I, go out to dinner or go out with friends. So that'll be a rest day, but
okay.
Yeah, no. And sometimes if I'm not at the gym on the weekends, I'll go run instead. So.
Okay. Yeah. And now speaking of that, your arthritis, what type of challenges are you faced with having to deal with that?
Luckily, with my trainers, they've always offered modifications. So when I started at the gym, there's things I can't do. I can't do because I have to protect my joints. And so that's my first thing, because I don't want a long-term injury to take me out for a while. So I'm always very cognizant of that. And I let the trainers know I can't do that. And they always offer me something else to do, modification that I can still work the same muscle, but not, put as much, hurt the joints as much. So,
right.
as much impact.
And now, do you still feel like you're getting a challenge with your workouts, even with the modifications?
Oh, absolutely, because I challenge myself. I go to the gym to make a change. So the trainers don't have to push me. I push myself. I'm self-motivated like that, where, if I show up at the gym, there was a reason I came here. It's not just to, just squeak by. It's to do my best.
And now, have you always been a self-motivator, or did that come over time?
That just came, I didn't know I was, because I was motivated to sit on the couch. So yeah, I'm self-motivated. Right? But then when I was actually going to do workouts and stuff, I didn't know until we did challenges how competitive I am.
Ooh.
So that's when that brought that out in me. Yeah, I was really surprised. I learned a lot about myself.
Okay. Now tell me about a challenge. What's your experience with doing a challenge compared to just, doing your regular unlimited fit body classes?
So, like I said, regularly I go, 5 or 6 days a week. I run usually once a week. But when I'm on a challenge, I'm just so focused. That's when I really tighten up my nutrition. And that's where I see the more, changes. I tell people too, because a lot of people see the changes in me and ask me what I did, or, how do you do that? And I love working out. That's the fun part. It's the nutrition that to me is the harder part, and also gets the more results, So I build muscle, but as far as like losing the fat is more nutrition.
And what would you say is the hardest thing when it comes to nutrition for you?
Probably keeping a variety. I don't know. It's really not that hard for me, because I've been doing it pretty consistent for the last 3.5 years. Going back to where we were talking about challenges. So one of the first challenges we did, I learned about macronutrients, and realized the percentages you should have compared to what a normal person would eat in a day, and also just keeping track of the calories. So I used MyFitnessPal, right? And the light came on for me about halfway through the challenge. I was like, oh man, I put my breakfast in, I put my lunch in, and then it comes to dinner, it's like all I can have is an egg white because I ran out of calories and I need more protein. So one night it hit me like, if I plan tomorrow, then that way I'll be sure to hit my macros. And so that's how I learned that lesson. And so, okay, I'm gonna have this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, a couple snacks, and I'm, check my macros, adjust, check my macros, I'm good. And then that's what I stick to. So during the challenge weeks, and I'm really focused on that, where I get a little too overindulgent when I'm not focused in on like that.
Got it. How do the holidays affect you, whether it be Thanksgiving, Christmas, being surrounded by all the parties, festivities, the food? Are you able to keep your nutrition still intact, at least to a certain degree? Or?
Well, luckily at our Fit Body Boot Camp in Anaheim and Placentia, we're doing a challenge.
Oh, perfect timing. There you go.
It's an accountability challenge. So it's not where we're focusing on losing weight and not having, the desserts and the parties and things like that. Our challenge for this month, for 28 days, is just to stay the same, and go to boot camp at least 3 days a week, and, go to your parties, but keep, be mindful of what you're choosing to put on your plate. And I think that's really good, because it gives people the freedom, like, oh, I can't go, I can't have it, I can do it, just moderation,
Yeah, like we always talk about, there's always a balance that's to be had. So
absolutely, yeah. And people go, I think, especially someone like me, who I used to just overindulge, like I didn't have any boundaries, and then they kind of go the other direction, swing the pendulum way too far, and be like, oh, I can't, and then you're not like living your life, you're not enjoying it,
right?
Yeah. Because there's parties and family gatherings and things you don't want to miss out on. I don't want to be the one being like, I can't have that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'll have a carrot.
So going back, you said your heaviest that you were was about 200 pounds.
Correct.
During that time, what was a normal day like for you?
I literally would just get up and go to work and go home and sit on the couch. I walk my dogs, and that's the thing. People are like, you walk every day. Yeah, but I'm walking. Walking the dogs to stop and take their little sniffs and stuff. I'm not like walking with a purpose, right? And, I've had dogs for 20 years and I've never lost weight by taking them out for a walk. So that's normally what I do. And plus, like I said, I had no boundaries on what I ate. If I wanted whatever, pizza for breakfast, I would have it. If I wanted pizza for lunch, I would have it. I just really, I didn't know, like I said, it's learning, the macros and, I still can have pizza, just you can't have as much as you want of everything you want and still get the results you want.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, you got to choose what's important, moderation.
Right.
Your big goal at the end of the day should be 10 times more important, because at the end of the day, how does it make you feel internally? Like, what's the difference of how you feel internally from being 200 pounds to where you are today?
I get really emotional about it. It's so deep, because at the time, I was like, oh, I'm the fat girl, I'm, the fun one, I'm, jolly, thinking like that. But it hurt. Like, I would go in a room. I remember going in a room and look around and be like, I'm the fattest person in this room, thinking to myself. And it's uncomfortable, but nobody knew how I felt, right? And now I have so much confidence, I go in a room and honestly, I don't care if I would be the fattest person in the room, because I know there's plenty of people still skinnier than me, but I feel so good about myself now. And I think besides just the weight and like changing the way I look is, the pride that I take in what I've done, what I've accomplished.
Yes.
And to me, like I was saying, going to the gym's fun, but I've stuck with it, So many people like do it for a little while and then end up not giving up, but just kind of quitting or, like you said, what was your average day like? It was just go home and sit on the couch and relax and, that's it. I had no physical activity. And so when I started doing, when that friend of mine, the coworker was doing his training classes, I have a photo of myself doing a farmer walk and I had 8-pound weights. And I'm like, oh, look at my, I thought I'm really doing something here. And now I laugh at those little baby 8-pound weights. So now I do like 40, But that was my starting point. We all have our starting point.
Exactly. You had to do those to get to the 40.
Going.
Exactly.
Yeah, I keep going. Like I said, I'm unstoppable. I just keep going.
And so like you said, some people, fall off. They don't stick to their goals. What was it that made you stick to your goals?
It's another deep one for me. My trainer, my friend that was my trainer, made me believe in myself. That was so important to me. Like, he believed in me enough to make me believe in myself. And I knew I could do it. A lot of times, because of my arthritis, right, I have limited motion in some of my joints. And say we were doing box dips, right? And I was like, I can't do that, because my wrist. He's like, well, try one. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, I can do it. I put so many limitations on myself because what I thought I couldn't do. And then when I actually tried it, when he convinced me to try it, I could do it and then more. So I think believing in myself, and that's one thing I love sharing my story, because so many times people say that, like, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And I really believe that. If I could lose, 50 plus pounds, so can you. Because I have, rheumatoid arthritis, I've had knee surgery, I had a hernia surgery.
Oh.
I have all these things that, I can't do this, I can't do this, but just try. And, anyway, just believing in yourself, I think, makes a big difference of pushing yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. And now, would you say that believing in yourself was something that you struggled with, maybe for a long time in your life before you started fitness?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, like even with the competition, the challenges, how competitive I am is, I never tried because I didn't think I could do it. Like, oh, if I can't be the winner, I'm not even going to try. It's like, I think that had a lot to do with my low activity level, or just being involved in things. I just it wasn't important to me.
And now that you do believe in yourself, have you been opened up to more opportunities, or what has changed in your life now that you truly believe in yourself?
It's interesting because I think sharing my story is so important to me, because I want other people to believe in themselves as well, right? To share my story like that. And I've had a ton of opportunities that, like at my gym, I've been done some of their little video shoots for their Facebook commercials, or some photo shoots for some different media, and like the Groupon ad and things like that. And I'm so proud of things like that. At my work, this past summer, I was on a panel where we did like a fitness, wellness and fitness forum, something like that, and we had a whole room full of people, and there was one person was a marathon runner, one person quit smoking, and one person like did group activities, something, and then with mine was my weight loss. And everybody had questions for me because, out of the group of people in the audience, most people were most interested in that. And I was just like, shooting them. I'm like, yeah. I was just, it made me feel so good to share that with other people. Like, plant that seed and help them believe in themselves as well.
You were talking earlier how you had lost weight before, but it always came back on. What is it that's helped you keep it off this time and not gain it back?
Oh, it's absolutely the support that I receive at my Fit Body Boot Camp, because it's like a family. Again, another deep subject. I get tears in my eyes.
It's okay. It's okay.
This is an amazing story for me because just to show how family we are. Sorry, do we have tissue here?
We can grab some tissue.
Okay. Hopefully I won't hear. Getting emotional.
Maybe.
So one of the challenges that we did, the first challenge was, one of the things we had to do was a Saturday run. And I was like, I don't run. I mean, I do not run. This body does not run, right? And I think at the time when I started, I was about 177 pounds. So I'd lost some weight before, right?
Yeah.
So this is like at the beginning of my fit body life. And so I was like, I'm not a runner. I can't run. I've never ran. But we started to do these Saturday runs towards the challenge. And I literally, the first time, couldn't run an 1/8 of a mile because it's like quarter mile marks. I went about halfway. I'm like, I'm dying. That was it. Okay, the next week we had to go back, and I ran like almost a quarter mile. And then the next time, just every time I kept going, and every time I would run a little further. Then 8 weeks, the challenge was over, and I was like, well, if I stop running, I'm not going to be able to run. I think at the end we were able to go 2 miles, I think. At least 1 mile. Anyway, that was a big deal, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, well, if I stop now, I'm going to go back to where I was. And that's unacceptable for me, So I kept going. On Saturdays, I go run by myself, and every time a little further. So then I sign up for my first 5K, and that's 3 miles. So that's like, that's a lot, right? I'm scared. But I went out. I didn't really tell a lot of people because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do it. And I'm not going to finish. So I went, it was down in Long Beach. I went down there and ran my 3 miles. And okay, this is where it gets emotional. So I'm running through the finish line, and I hear my name, and I'm like, who knows I'm here? I look up, and there was Franco, the owner of the gym. Drove from Yorba Linda down to Long Beach to cheer me on the finish line. That meant the world to me, that they care that much. So that's why I stick with Fit Body Boot Camp, because they stick with me. Yeah.
I love that story.
I do too. I'm all emotional.
No, that's awesome. Because at the end of the day, everyone needs a support system.
Absolutely.
And I love the fact that you were going to go into that and just do it on your own anyway. And the fact that you had them waiting there at the finish line, that is awesome.
It meant the world to me. It really does. And that's what I said. I'm here for life now. You guys are stuck with me because
whether you like it or not.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure they love it.
And it's just the support. If you don't show up for a little while, you get a call or a text like, "Hey, where are you?" We're used to seeing the same people around, and we check on each other. But yeah, it's true. I need that.
Family.
I need that support.
I think we all do. Everyone needs support in their life, no matter whether it's fitness or reaching any other type of goals that you have. Everyone needs support. We're human. We need to stick together and just do it. Encourage each other.
Yeah, it's really nice. No matter what you do in life, that someone's there for you, and and we all do have our bad weeks or go through something where we might not be there for a little while, but we don't leave anybody behind,
Exactly.
with us.
And it helps you get through those hard times and those challenges when you have that support system.
Absolutely.
So is there anything that you would say to our listeners out there that may be struggling to believe in themselves? Any advice that you would give them? or words of encouragement?
Yes. One thing that is really touching for me is when I did that first challenge, even before I came to Fit Body boot camps, right? I gave myself the 8-week challenge. I said, I know what always happens. I start a diet, I start trying to exercise, and then 3 days later, I haven't lost weight and I quit. So I'm gonna try for 8 weeks and really give it an honest try and not give up and see what happens. And I lost like 25 pounds. So when you feel like giving up, I mean, just give yourself an honest chance, you know, be real with yourself and give yourself the chance to try, you know, 6 weeks or 8 weeks out of your whole life. That's not that big of a deal. And then if you see results.
It could be life-changing.
It was for me. It definitely was for me.
Well, thank you for that. I think that's
Yeah.
great advice, and
Thank
I
you.
definitely think our listeners can benefit from
I
that.
really hope so. I really hope someone takes it to heart, you know.
So what does living beyond the scale mean to you, Yolanda?
You know, the scale is a struggle, I think, for every person or woman. You know, I say like, you know, women especially. But then it's a number. That doesn't define me. It's what I do day in and day out that defines me. And so, you know, for me to come here and say, you know, I'm a runner now, I'm fit now, I'm strong. When people ask me to describe myself, that's the word I use, is I'm strong. You know, for 47 years of my life, I was not strong, and now I'm very proud to say that I'm strong. So when I say, you know, like living beyond the scale, it's not the number on the scale, it's how you live your life, you know, day to day.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much for sharing, Yolanda. You have a beautiful story, and I'm
Thank you.
so glad. Yeah. And I love your unstoppableness. Like, it's awesome.
I know.
Keep it going.
Yeah, I can't
Like, you're
stop.
infecting me with positive energy, and I love it.
Thank you. I like that. I like hearing that. Like I said, you know, that's what I want to share. It was the one person planted that seed in me. So if I can help others see that in themselves, and, you know, don't be unstoppable. There's nothing that can get in your way, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Except for yourself. You're the only one that can get in the way of yourself.
your brain,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like my brain told me I couldn't do it, but my body showed me I could.
Exactly. Prove that wrong.
Yeah, you got it.
If any of our listeners out there want to join the family and be unstoppable with you,
boy.
where can they find you?
You know what? I am at Anaheim Fit Body Boot Camp in Anaheim, and sometimes in Placentia. And I am always at the 6 p.m. class, Monday through Friday. You know, like I have friends that go. They go in the morning. I never see them, but yeah, I'm 6 p.m. I'm there. That's where you'll find me.
All right. And for those of you out there that may not be in the Anaheim area, make sure you go to fitbodybootcamp.com to find a location near you and claim your 3 free workouts. Until next time.